Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Well, the flu season is here again, and our Warner Hospital and Health Services walk-in clinic inside our family medicine clinic is ready to treat you. CEO Paul Scowen here, reminding you when you suffer from all those symptoms that are caused by flu-like fever, headache, congestion, and that blah feeling. Come to us. No appointment, no problem at the Warner Hospital walk-in clinic. Get here and get feeling better. Just another way we provide quality care close to home.
It's no secret that employers are having a difficult time hiring qualified personnel, whether full or part-time. The Miller Media Group wants to help you, the employer, to find the candidates you're looking for. That's why we've created IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. This website is part of a broad radio and internet employment campaign available through the Miller Media Group. Contact your account manager or email sales@randyradio.com for more information. IllinoisJobPost.com is where we put the power of radio and the internet to attract prospective candidates.
Hey, this is Todd Gleason from Illinois Extension here with a time change for our daily market report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
News time is 8 minutes after 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Monday morning. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast streaming to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. An energy assistance program is seeing more people than usual reach out for assistance. Breanne Titus is agency development director with Community Action and notes LIHEAP is a program that helps people cover energy and utility expenses. She says they are seeing an increase in people in need due in large part to energy companies resuming sending out disconnection notices.
So our LIHEAP program basically is an energy assistance program that helps people cover their energy expenses or their utility expenses. So this year has been a little bit different. We've not only helped with energy bills, but we've also helped with water assistance and sewer. So that's been a little different than normal years, but there is definitely a huge need for energy assistance right now. I think during COVID, there was a lot of Ameren and things of those nature. Those types of utility companies were not disconnecting because they were going through hardships and things of that nature. So people were necessarily in an urgency to get their bill covered.
Right.
They were thinking, oh, well, it's going to be fine. And now that has gone away and Ameren has started to say, if you can't pay your bill, we're going to start disconnecting. People are starting to get a little worried, and they have been definitely calling like crazy. And we have 2 full-time staff members, and then our director, which does appointments half the time. And they have been doing everything they can to help as many people as they can. And they've been doing a fantastic job.
Titus says if you are in potential jeopardy of getting disconnected, the time to reach out is now. Community Action will schedule an appointment as soon as they have one available.
We noticed that it's getting colder outside. We talked about that this morning. The snow is coming. And so if you are in jeopardy or in a situation where you could be disconnected, you need to call us as soon as possible so that we can get you in for an appointment. First available, if possible. If it's an emergency situation, we may be able to get you in sooner than that. But you need to get in soon because the colder weather is not going to go away. And then Ameren is still going to be disconnecting up until a certain point.
Right.
Typically they stop their disconnection notices during the cold people. But we don't know what that's going to look like. We live in Central Illinois. So just be prepared. And notice that, again, we talked earlier in the show that, people don't always want to feel like they need help, but this is a situation. If you need help, you need it now. Contact us and let us do our job so that we can get you in a position where you're not stressing about it through Christmas. You're not stressing through it in the new year. Let us help you now.
Titus notes LIHEAP works on a percentage basis of what you qualify for. She does note, though, do not be alarmed if your appointment is not as soon as you'd like it to be. She says the office is understaffed and overwhelmed with the influx of appointment requests they are receiving.
Be prepared, because there is so many people in need that if you call and talk to our receptionist and we don't have an appointment available till the end of January, be prepared for that mentally. Be patient with us. We're doing as many appointments as we possibly can. Like I mentioned to you off air, we are close to about 1,000 appointment mark. And that sounds insane. That's only been September 1st. And that's all of our 5 counties, and that's 2 full-time staff members. So when you call in and you get upset because, we don't have an appointment soon enough for you, understand that you're not the only one that we're helping. And we are definitely hustling. So we're doing the best that we can. And
again, Titus notes LIHEAP works on a percentage basis of what you qualify for. So depending on what you receive and how much your bill is, it could be either one-time assistance, or you could qualify for multiple assistance opportunities throughout the LIHEAP year.
It depends. So everything is on a percentage system of what you qualify for benefits.
Okay.
So if on the first time you come in, you utilize all of that benefit, that is the only time through this LIHEAP year that you can come in for benefit.
Okay.
If you only use, say your bill's half of that, and you only use half of that benefit, you could potentially come in for the second half of the benefit before the end of the program year.
Okay.
Because the end of the program year is May 30th.
Gotcha.
So you have basically from now until May 30th to get that assistance, depending on how high your bill is.
Okay. Again, learn more about LIHEAP or schedule an appointment by visiting capcil.info. That's CAPCIL.info. While the holidays can be a joyous time for most, they can be stressful for others. Nadia Kleekamp with Chestnut Health Systems has some tips for managing stress during this time of the year. She says the first step is acknowledge how you feel.
Acknowledging your feelings. So there's times where you may are separated from a loved one, or someone that has been close to you has recently passed away. It's okay to find the time to express your feelings. If you're sad, if you feel like you need to cry, you can't. It's unrealistic to force yourself to be happy. And recognizing holidays are a joyous time, but they're not always a joyous time for everybody. And taking the time to sit with those feelings and acknowledging those. If you're feeling so sad or so depressed, reach out for help. Talk to somebody. It can be an isolating time for folks. There is a lot of different resources available that can offer support to you, or maybe you can find companionship. Maybe it's a neighbor, a loved one, maybe through your religious community or social groups that you might have. Really find someone that you can reach out to.
Learning to say no and making time for yourself is important to keep in mind this time of the year. Kleekamp says while it may be hard to do, people will understand and respect you for taking care of yourself.
Saying yes, when you should say no, can really make you feel resentful, maybe even extra overwhelmed. Having all these holiday parties, hanging out with friends, or friends come into town, you want to meet up with everybody, but recognizing your own capacity and the willingness to tell people no is people will respect you for that. And making sure you take care of yourself, right? If you have a great exercise routine, sleep routine, diet, or healthy eating plan, stick to it, which I recognize during the holidays, there's a lot of great food out there. But try your best to eat what you normally do, right? And then obviously take a break. It's great to be around a lot of people, but having some time for yourself, even if it's taking your dog for a walk by yourself or spending 15 minutes alone, any way you can kind of reduce your stress, that's really important.
Kleekamp indicates it's important to keep things realistic and acknowledge that traditions can change and not everything has to be perfect. Have a budget and stick to it, and that will help prevent stress.
Do a budget. Try not to overspend. Think through, realistically, you can't buy your way or overload someone with gifts. Maybe start a gift exchange with family, or create homemade gift opportunities. Even it's been more popular, especially as you've probably seen in the last several years, donating different charities, between Small Business Saturday and Giving Tuesday and all the like, take advantage of something like that. Of course, planning ahead, right? Anytime you can take opportunity to set aside maybe specific days or plans to focus on, okay, today I'm going to work on this to-do list. Especially if you're a baker or a chef, planning ahead in your meals and making sure that menu is well thought out early enough so you're not making last-minute trips to the store.
Camp implores anyone feeling overwhelmed or anxious during the holidays to call the 988 hotline or contact Chestnut at 888-942-3786. A school district in Logan County will be getting additional tax revenue down the road thanks to a decision by the Logan County Board. The Logan County Board recently approved the development of 2 different wind farms that will be in the Mount Pulaski School District. Superintendent Fred Lamke says he's grateful for additional tax revenue.
Well, Mount Pulaski's had 2 wind farm projects come through in our school district, and we've been approached by 2 separate companies that looking to do wind farms again, and they went before the county board last night, and both the wind farms got approval to go ahead and put up probably in total in our district probably about another 50 wind turbines. Well, that's added tax revenue that's going to come into our school district. These projects probably won't begin until next year, and they probably won't affect our school district until the 2025 school year. But what it does for us, it just gives a little more financial security and stability, knowing that for a projected 20-year period of time that we're going to have a steady local revenue that we don't have to wonder if it's going to be there or not. It's going to be part of our tax base, and it's going to allow us to do some really good things in the school district.
Mr. Lamke notes the district previously had benefited from the wind farm tax revenue. Mount Pulaski has been able to use wind farm money to supplement the tax referendum when they redid the high school.
Well, yeah, if you go back 10 years ago, our school district was in pretty much financial dire straits. We were just barely keeping our ed fund into black. We were downsizing our staff, and we were just getting by the best that we could. Move forward 5 or 6 years, the wind farm project started coming in, and it opened a lot of doors for us. While our taxpayers were very gracious and passed a $10 million referendum to build a new high school, it allowed us to do other things in that project to make that high school what the students needed, not just good enough, but better serving them instructionally, better serving the community and district. And that was a benefit of the wind farms. And then since that time, being able to add back instructional staff and support staff, adding resources and curriculum, it's opened doors that weren't open 10 years ago.
Lamke notes during his tenure, property values in Mount Pulaski have risen exponentially due to his belief from the wind farms. He explains the additional revenue allows the district to plan for the future and cross projects off its wish list.
Well, it varies a little bit. I can tell you this, that from the time I've been here, the assessed evaluation of our property in the Mount Pulaski School District has gone up about $50 million. And I would anticipate that these 2 new projects coming in make it go up about another 20 to 25 million. And I guess a good way of looking at it, I would say it's bringing in about another $1.5 million a year.
The Mount Pulaski School Board at its next meeting will put together a capital project plan. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Life is uncertain. Stop in and see me, State Farm Agent Jason France, on the west side of the Clinton Square, or click our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com and see how our full lineup of State Farm insurance and financial services can help protect your family.
Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Hear his reports by downloading the free WHOW mobile app.
In the field, the right partner can make all the difference. One that's dependable, straightforward, and is there when you need them. That's LG Seeds. From our hybrids and soybean varieties to our service and support, reliability is in everything we do. Start this season right with LG Seeds. Talk to your local dealer or visit lgseeds.com for more information.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Clinton High School senior lineman Scott Weber was named to the Central Illinois Conference First Team All-Conference Saturday. Weber was recognized as a unanimous first-teamer on the offensive line and was also selected a first-teamer on the defensive line. Decatur St. Teresa dominated the first-team selections with 9 unique first-team selections on each side of the ball. Shelby, though, had 5 first-team selections between offense and defense, while Tuscola had 4. Central A&M had the other first-team selections. Clinton's Tristan Potts was a second-team all-conference selection at running back, and sophomore Logan Toms was a second-team all-conference selection for Clinton at linebacker, while Dawson Graves was a second-team selection at defensive back. Houston Stapleton and Brett Young were honorable mentions in the CIC all-conference teams. Clinton finished the season 4-5 overall. The Clinton Maroons varsity boys basketball team went 3-1 at this past week's Mount Pulaski Thanksgiving tournament and embark on a busy week this week. Things open tomorrow night for the Maroons when they visit Olympia, who is 0-1 on the season. The Maroons continue its long stretch away from home Friday night when they make the short trip up Highway 51 to visit Maroa Forsyth. Finally, the Maroons play its home opener Saturday evening, hosting Hayworth at 6:30. Looking ahead to next week, the Maroons will look to avenge a regional loss this past February when they host Riverton at Clinton High School on Tuesday. The 1-4 Lady Maroons will look to right the ship starting tonight. They host the 4-0 Tolono Unity Lady Rockets. Game time is 7 p.m. Hear the action right here on the Big 1520 AM, 92.3 FM and 106.5 FM WHOW, as well as our many digital platforms. The Lady Maroons open the CIC slate Thursday night, hosting Sullivan. Jalen Hurts ran for 157 yards to set an Eagles record for a quarterback. He threw for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns as Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers injured his ribs in Philadelphia's 40-33 victory over Green Bay Sunday night. Hurts topped Michael Vick's 130 yards rushing set in December 2010 against the Giants as tops for an Eagles quarterback. He became the first player since at least 1950 with 150-plus rushing yards and 150-plus passing yards with multiple passing touchdowns in a game, and is cementing his status as the NFL MVP frontrunner. He seems poised to take the torch from Rodgers. Hurts helped the Eagles move to 10-1 for the 5th time in history. Miles Sanders ran for 143 yards and 2 scores as Philadelphia rushed for 363 yards overall, the second best total for the franchise. Rodgers left in the third quarter with his team trailing 34-23 after grimacing his way through a drive that led to a Packers field goal. He'd already been playing with a broken thumb and took several hard hits. His replacement, Jordan Love, kept the Packers in the game by connecting with Christian Watson for a 63-yard catch-and-run touchdown that cut Philly's lead to 37-30. But the Packers ran out of time against Hurts, who had 17 rushes and averaged 9.2 yards per carry. Hurts had 254 yards combined, including 126 on the ground, and threw a touchdown pass in the first half as the Eagles built a 27-20 lead. He ripped off runs of 42, 28, and 24 yards. In the second half, he had A.J. Brown for a 6-yard touchdown pass and a 34-20 lead that just added to his staggering numbers on one of the great nights ever for an Eagles quarterback. Hurts topped Michael Vick's 130 yards rushing set in December 2010. Rodgers was just 11 of 16 for 140 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 first-half interceptions. Hurts put on a show in a lively first half that saw 2 Eagles get their first career interceptions, and both teams missed an extra point while combining for 7 touchdowns. Bettors could have cashed in on the over in the first 30 minutes. Philadelphia's high-octane offense had slowed of late, notably during its first loss of the season in their previous game against Washington. and last week's win over Indianapolis that needed a fourth quarter rally. But Hurts put the Packers on notice with early rushes that would make an all-pro running back envious. He ran for 52 yards on the opening drive and set up Kenneth Gainwell's 4-yard touchdown. Rodgers had his second pass attempt batted by cornerback Darius Slay and snagged by Josiah Scott. 3 plays later, Sanders scored on a 15-yard run, but Jake Elliott missed the point after. Rodgers led the pack right back. A.J. Dillon scored on a 20-yard run. Rodgers hit Randall Cobb for an 11-yard score, and it was 14-13 late in the first quarter. Hurts, though, closed the half with a 42-yard run and a 1-yard run close enough to the end zone to set up Sanders' 2-yard scoring run on the first play of the second quarter. Rodgers again came back and threw a 23-yard touchdown pass to Aaron Jones. Mason Crosby matched Elliott with a missed extra point, and the score was tied at 20. That was about all Rodgers could muster. Hurts took it from there and threw a 30-yard touchdown pass to Quez Watkins, whose fumble against the Commanders played a pivotal role in the Eagles' only loss. The Packers will visit the Bears next Sunday. Saku Manalainen and Pierre-Luc Dubois each scored 2 goals as the Winnipeg Jets routed the Blackhawks 7-2 Sunday night, handing Chicago its 7th straight loss. Kyle Connor connected for the 3rd straight game and had 2 assists. Mark Sheffley had his team-leading 11th goal, and Jansen Harkins scored for the Jets. They have won 2 straight and 3 of 4 to improve to 13-6-1. Connor Hellebuck made 23 saves. Defenseman Josh Morrissey had 3 assists as Winnipeg dominated with a 44-shot attack. Their 3rd and 4th lines got the offense rolling. Then the Jets' bigger names joined the party. Dubois netted his 9th and 10th goals in the 3rd period to put the game away. Taylor Radish scored in his second straight game, while Jujhar Khaira had a power play goal for Chicago, who's 0-6-1 in this slide. The Jets moved ahead of Colorado and into second place in the Central Division. With 27 points, they are 1 behind first place Dallas. Peter Mrazek stopped 37 shots for the Blackhawks. Coach Luke Richardson says his team had ample scoring chances but did not bear down and finish them. The Blackhawks will host Edmonton on Wednesday. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Flu season is back, and our Warner Hospital and Health Services walk-in clinic inside our family medicine clinic is ready. CEO Paul Skowron here. Our walk-in clinic is here to treat those flu symptoms. No appointment? No problem. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
When it comes to fire and water restoration,